Hey guys, thanks so much for joining us today on Pedison Property Partners, where property meets possibilities. So today we're here with Diego Villarreal with AMX Realty. Diego sells North Texas. Diego has been in the real estate business for about 18 years. He served 5 years actually as a mortgage broker doing kind of what I do. So he's got a great perspective on that side of the business. He's also been an agent for over 13 years. Also has a lot of experience with helping with contracting and renovations. He's also even got a little bit of dabble experience in helping with property values on appraisals. Diego's a great resource. He's a really great partner of mine. I'm so happy to have you here today to share some of your insights on today's market.
Thank you, Chris. Really appreciate it. Happy to be here.
Absolutely, man. Well, Diego, I've heard through the grapevine that, this year, obviously, sales are a little bit down. Inventories may be up, but, sales are down. 94% of agents in the business have not closed a deal this year so far.
That's true.
Holy cow. I mean, that's not good, but they've always said, the top 10% of agents do a majority of the business anyway. I'd love for you to share a little bit today with us about what is helping you thrive instead of just survive in today's market.
Wow.
To the real estate agents out there, what could you share as far as a unique or maybe unconventional way that you've been generating business this year that maybe surprised you over all the others?
Well, most of my business has been mostly referrals, from past clients and things like that. However, some new agents, when they get into the business, they have a little hesitation on where to start or where to even basically, how do we get leads? Because basically you get your license, right? And you think that, okay, I'm going to be busy. I want to go out there. I just want to show houses, make deals happen. And then when they find out, it really isn't that the case. I mean, obviously you get in with a broker and they teach you a little bit, but they're not going to take you all the way. Most of them don't take you all the way. They basically they'll provide you the training. They'll provide you all of the things that you need to do. But really it has to the work really has to be with the agent. It has to keep the legs going. You know what I mean? So unconventional ways that I've actually done, obviously there's social media. Everybody's on social media. Doing exactly what we're doing now. Videos is 100% the key. So a lot of new agents are very hesitant to be on video because they don't like the way they look, they don't like the way they sound, and they don't really have any experience. Trust me, I know a lot of newer agents out there that basically have just bit the bullet 5 years ago. They already started their video and basically are killing it right now. So it takes time because it does actually, you got to build up a fan base. Absolutely. But it definitely works. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. Now, unconventional ways and you can actually start or get referrals or leads and things like that. I always tell newer agents, the best agents I know are social butterflies. They are everywhere, as you can see. They go to the meetings, they go to the HOA meeting, they go to all of the functions that most of us don't want to go to, but because they are communicating with their own community, with their own neighbors, things like that. So they go to every baby shower, they go to every wedding, they go to every single quinceañera. And I'm telling you right now, they go to every single one of those events because that they're looking at it as a mentality. Yes, I'm here for the people, but at the same time, I'm here to do business as well. And people will recognize that, and they always.
I think that's great. I mean, it's all about immersing yourself in the community that you want to do business in. Absolutely. And being a resource to those people. And most importantly, probably not being a secret agent, right? When you're out there, you've got to make everybody know, hey, I'm the real estate person around here.
Absolutely. And, and the way they do it is very nonchalant either. Obviously, you don't want to shake somebody's hand. Hi, I'm a realtor. I'm going to help you buy, sell, lease. Course. But no, it's one of those things where you go to these functions and you introduce yourselves very nonchalant, things like that. And yes, obviously, what do the people ask you? What do you do for a living? And they're going to ask you, well, I'm a realtor. And the number one question that always comes up, well, how's the market?
Sure.
There you go.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. Which kind of segues into my next question I had for you is, we're on social media daily and we're using it as business. What roles does social media play in your business and what platforms do you use the most?
I'll be quite honest. I didn't really start the social media thing myself until probably a few years back. I was kind of late to the game, but I kind of realized that these are things that are essential to our business and essential to agents out there. Because obviously, we all like to post memes and have people like our stories and stuff like that. And everything is so chipper and stuff like that. But one thing that I found out is that they want to see past that. They want to see behind the scenes. They want to know what's going on. They want to see the calls that you're making sometimes. They want to see the...
I love those video viewers, by the way.
Yeah.
They're fun. They're fun and interesting to watch to see what's kind of going on with those conversations.
And not only that, people are interested in knowing what is really going on. Like, how are you putting these deals together? And, and the stress and the time that it takes to get something from point A to point Z. It's very interesting. Yep. And then for me, the way it's played a pivotal role, it's just been, you just have to basically make it a part of your life, make it part of your everyday routine. It's more than just posting, but posting with an actual purpose.
Yeah,
you know exactly. What I mean? So.
Yeah, I think another key I've picked up on that is engagement with others on social media too. Not just being the content person putting it out there, but the person engaging in other content really kind of helps build more awareness and business online as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What I've seen as far as with most of the most successful agents that I work with is sticking to the basics and being disciplined and working all the pillars of your business, which should include, of course, your sphere of influence, along with your past client database, also chasing the new business, maybe making some cold calls, and then making some strategic relationships with VIPs, going after those, right? And then, of course, that last pillar, social media. Sticking with those, sticking discipline and consistency seems to be the key.
Absolutely. And I'm not knocking the old ways of doing business either. You still got to make those calls. You still got to make those cold calls. You still got to call on expireds. You got to still call on houses that maybe are pre-foreclosure and things like that. Those are still essential to your business. And obviously, you have to be able to be comfortable being on the phone, talking to people that have no idea why you're talking to them and things like that. Yeah, you're going to get a lot of hang-ups and maybe a few choice words in a way. But listen,
you gotta have thick skin, right? I mean,
you gotta have a little bit of thick skin, but it's not always like that. Obviously, that if you make 100 phone calls, out of those 100 phone calls that you've made during the day, that you've set your time out for, I know that you'll get at least 2 or 3 referrals off of that, and I think it's worth it. And even if those referrals take a long time to close, it's still worth it. Those are that's the type of business that you're going to want. Those are the type of referrals that you're going to get because you're stuck with it, and they're going to send you other business.
Absolutely. We're all about nurturing growth of business, and you've been in the business a long time. I've been in the business 19 years, and I tell every agent, hey, I'm in the business for loans today, but I'm great for loans tomorrow or next year even. I'm fine with that. Right. So absolutely. It's all about building that. So I want to shift gears a little bit here on you, because some of our viewers are actually not real estate agents. Some of them are clients. Sure. So let's talk a little to our clients here. What are the most common red flags that you look for when you're showing properties to potential buyers? Because, I mean, it's one of those things. What do I need to go show? I can see all the pictures online. When you're showing a property, what are you actually looking for?
Oh, man, there's been plenty of times where I've walked in and shown the buyer or shown a client a house and things like that. Majority of the times, if you have the time to preview, that's great. Sometimes we just don't have the time to go out and preview every single property that your client wants to see over the weekend, right? Mm-hmm. But if you have the time to preview, I would definitely recommend it. Okay, so just to save you time.
Save time for you and the buyer.
But one of the red flags that I don't know, man, it's just, for me, when I walk into the property, it's always one of those things where as you're walking in, oh man, I could break this down, but the smell of the house.
There you go. I mean, hey, man.
It kind of irks me a little bit, but at the same time, I have to kind of think, okay, this is not my house. I don't know, how things are. But if it's an empty house and the smell of mildew and things like that, 100%, that's actually a huge red flag.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because you can definitely feel like maybe there was water damage or there's currently
not properly maintained, whatever.
Properly maintained and things like that. Another thing, a red flag for me is also foundation. You can definitely feel when you're walking, in the foyer where you're walking around the hallways and things like that. Some the foundation is not as level, especially with pier and beam. But pier and beam, I think they can treat that a little bit different than your slab foundation and things like that. Mm-hmm. Even actually just by looking around the property, things like that, and you can see location wise. You know what I mean? So if there's things that you see that as you're looking for your clients or clients that are with you, you'll notice that, hey, maybe this might not be the best location. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like maybe it backs up to a shopping center or something maybe undesirable in the backyard that you may not have noticed from the pictures or anything else.
Or traffic too.
Yeah, traffic.
I mean, sometimes you kind of look at the map and you're kind of saying, wow, it's a corner lot. Great. But it's right on the corner
busy street. Yeah.
Preston and off of Preston and Alma or something like that. Or Preston or location, and obviously is number one key as far as a big factor for a lot.
That's great. Yeah, I love that advice. Thank you.
Sure.
Sellers out there right now, properties are sitting a little bit longer right
Sure.
now than maybe normal.
Yeah.
So what would you say are some of the common mistakes that sellers make or some of the things maybe they should avoid when listing a property?
I think it's always been price is 100% key.
Sure.
Here's the deal. If you hire a realtor, you didn't hire them to basically sell your house at what you think this fantasy land of what price is going to be.
Mhm.
You hired me because you know exactly that I'm going to bring comps. I'm going to bring comparables on the properties. I'm going to bring you exactly what sold in the past 90 days. If
Sure.
I can't find anything within the past 90 days, I'm going to extend it out to 180 days. Obviously, this comes with experience and things like that because good realtors can forecast what things are going to emerge as far as when things are going to start to pick up. It's
Yeah.
very difficult to do. For the most part, I think that sellers, if you price your property higher than what's available, I will guarantee that you're not going to, you're going to get maybe a couple of showings here and there, but
Mhm.
obviously price is the key. And sometimes right now buyers have choices. That's
Sure.
another thing because I get it. Your house is beautiful. You've got beautiful wallpaper.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's not going to be
Some wallpaper.
some wallpaper. Right? That's
Some
not
of
even
it.
worth $10,000. You know what I mean?
Of course,
So good realtors will always tell you what you need to know, not necessarily what you want to hear. And sometimes what they want to hear is not necessarily what is going to be all.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and it's a competitive market out there for listing agents, you
Yeah.
know, and so a lot of listing agents do tend to tell sellers what they want to hear. And hey, we can list whatever price you want to list and we'll sell it, but that's not necessarily reality.
Yeah, just to get the listing and things like that, and then
Mhm.
we'll figure out how to bring it down. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I mean, I've done that a couple times. Here's the deal. I always tell people, hey, listen, I understand, Mr. Seller, you want to sell your house at this price point. I will tell you, houses that have priced at that price point have stayed on the market a little longer than houses that have not, have been priced right out the gate and have gotten multiple offers, even in this market, because I
Sure.
still see multiple
Oh, yeah.
offers in this
Absolutely.
market.
I've seen them too. I mean, there's
Yeah.
been some bidding wars even in
Yeah.
this market right
And
now.
it's
It's
really
usually
crazy.
the homes that are priced right that get those.
Right,
So
exactly.
yeah, no,
It's always-
I think price is key.
Yeah, and then one thing that I always like to say, it's always better to ride the market up than to price it high than have the market down because
Exactly.
you get a lot less.
Oh yeah, I've seen some strategies before where, you know, they listed a little bit below market
Yeah.
that got so much buyer interest it drove the price above market.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, so I mean that's a great strategy there. Another thing that's coming out right now, hot topic, you know, newsflash, you're getting your property valuation notices in the mail from the counties right now. And some of them may actually be going down. Most of them go up. What is your advice to current homeowners that are getting these property valuation notices from the county and on strategies that they may take to maybe protest those taxes and maybe bring the values down to save some money? Like, what's your advice to them?
Well, number one, first, don't panic. Number one.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously, here's the deal. There's a lot of companies out there that would gladly take your money and they'll say that they've done their best. And there's some good
You're talking about properties that'll they'll get something in the mail and you're like, oh, well, let's protest your taxes for
Right.
you, and they'll charge you a fee.
Exactly. They
Got
charge
it.
you a fee.
Okay.
Sometimes they'll charge it up front or they'll charge it in, if they save you money.
Mhm.
Those are okay. Some of them are okay. I'm not saying that all of them are
Sure.
great, but some of them are okay. So make sure your due diligence on that.
Sure.
Whoever sold you the property obviously should be able to help you to bring any kind of comps that you were looking, and
Mhm.
then basically have quick CMA, quick spreadsheet of things like that, and then recommend what your property value should be as far as tax. I always recommend clients to contact the realtor first, or contact, maybe they have an appraiser that's in the family, which
Sure.
which
Would be
is-
great.
which
Yeah.
would be great. But at the same time, it's one of those things that you kind of have to fuzz a little bit with.
Yeah.
I've been to a lot of property protests. They are getting stricter. They are
Sure.
getting no fuss right now. But I can tell you that if you have a good, legitimate reason that they need for your taxes to come down, they're going to give you their first shot. They're going to give you a recommendation. Okay, we're not going to price your property here, but they'll price it here.
Got it. A little bit of a negotiation. They make kind of an offer to you, right? I've had that happen before, which,
Yeah.
I mean, I have protested my own taxes before.
Right.
And let me tell you, I won and
Yeah.
it was great.
Yeah.
And I did get a realtor to help me on that.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, it is great if you've got a local realtor friend or maybe whoever sold you your house. Absolutely use them as a resource. They probably want you to use them as a resource, right?
Yeah.
So make sure you tap into that.
That's why we're here. No,
Yeah.
obviously that's why I'm here basically. So a lot of my clients, when they get their tax appraisals and things like that, some will send them over to me and then say,
Sure.
is there any way you can help me? And then I have some of my friends that didn't use me before, but they still send them to me and I still help them. It doesn't take very long, but there's some things that you can do. There's some tricks that you can maybe try to feel out and maybe that will help you. For
Great.
sure. But it doesn't guarantee it, but it's
No, it
always
never
a
does.
chance.
Yeah.
But always try to protest. Yeah.
Worst thing they can do is say no, right?
Worst thing they can do is say no and throw you out the door.
Yeah, there you go. As far as my best advice to potential buyers, people that have maybe been in their homes for several years and thinking about buying, the biggest elephant in the room is, oh my God, rates are so high, I'm going to wait till rates come down. My best advice is don't focus on the interest rate because the interest rate is temporary, but focus on the investment in a home and the ROI on that. Basically, home values are not going down anytime soon. I mean, by the way, it's even proven, there's a lot of talk about recessions, that home values still increase during recessions. Because usually what happens during a recession, interest rates come down and more buyers enter the market to take advantage of those interest rates. Yeah. So home values typically do well. So not focus on the interest rate, but that home is going to cost you more in the future. If you want to pay more in the future for a little bit lower rate, it's not going to equal out. So you're better off getting that temporary high rate at a lower price and maybe refinancing that in the future when it makes sense. Absolutely. So that would be what I, would stress is focus on is not interest rates, because the cliche saying out there at this point now is date the rate, marry the home, and divorce the rent. Okay. That's the cliche saying out there nowadays, but it's true. Okay. It really is. I mean, that would be my best advice.
Yeah. And negotiating, that's a lot of buyers right now don't know this. And I'm still flabbergasted. A lot of them don't know this, but sellers are willing to negotiate right now.
Oh, yeah.
And the sellers will help buy down that rate. And sometimes it could be 0.5%. Sometimes it could be a full percent.
Sure.
And that's very costly right now. But at the same time, you pay a lot of the times when you look at the numbers, you can actually get a better, if you can get the better rate and pay more of pay it at the full price, make sure that it praises and things like that. But you'll notice that your actual payment
saves money over time.
It saves money over time, and your payment will be a lot less than you actually negotiating it down and having that
I call that
tug.
offering smart, not offering low.
Right,
exactly. What that is.
So there's sellers right now are willing. Most sellers that I know that are willing to negotiate, willing to get a deal going.
Sure.
Because either they need to buy something, or they probably are under contract on a new build or something like that. Whatever the scenario is, majority of sellers right now are willing to negotiate right now because they understand. Most of them understand that the market is not what it was 2 or 3 years ago, right? But most of them do feel like, okay, this is where I need to sell it at, but I'm willing to negotiate, give a little bit, so that way I can get a lot.
So I love that advice. Thank you. Some of our viewers on these are also real estate investors.
Sure.
And so I like to appeal to them a little bit with some of their questions that I could get the most. And there's a lot of talk. Short-term rentals used to be the big thing. And I'd say they're dying down a little bit, in my opinion. But midterm rentals seem to be kind of the new big thing. What do you see in the midterm rental market? These are people that are staying for several months, like corporate stays, maybe traveling nurses, people like that are renting homes for 3-4 months, maybe 6 months, but not a full year. Yeah. What do you see about that market?
That's a really great question. My mentor, Tuan, who owns AMX Realty, he's a huge Airbnb guy, and he always has all of his houses are usually full. He's always saying, looking for more, actually. So I usually kind of follow his lead on that. So I can tell you right now, it's still pretty good. I can say, but as far as like mid-market, I guess you could say a market for that right now, because you can see that we're in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Dallas really is a hub for a lot of corporate, corporate entities like business and things and whatever. But they stay here for like 6 months and then they go back home, or they're traveling. They're doing a lot. So I see that actually increasing. I think that it's here to stay. I know that there's some restrictions at place with Plano and parts of Dallas and things like that, but I don't think that it's going anywhere soon. So if you're an investor, you're looking to get into Airbnbs, give us a call, because we do have ways we can do that.
Thank you.
Sure.
So another obviously investment standpoint for real estate is buying more of the long-term real estate, long-term rentals. What would you say is the biggest key in success when you're looking for long-term rentals?
Long-term rentals, obviously, locations, schools, as far as like longevity, house, I see a lot of investors getting into the new builds and things like that. They're buying in those new builds because they are getting really big incentives right now. And the interest rates are coming down, even though if they're going to purchase that as an actual investment, if they go through an actual lender that they're working with, then they will help with the interest rate buy down, and they will stick with that for as long time as they can.
Yeah.
So it could be 5 years, maybe 6 years and things like that. Typically, you want to give yourself a good 5 to 6 years to really feel that that property is actually, number one, increased in value, which it will. Yeah. But number two, it's also that the type of rents that you're getting. Are they still in the
staying on a good consistent raising every year?
Exactly. Raising a little bit. Yeah. I mean, I get a lot of investors that they purchase a rental, and then when they find out that, well, the rents are not increasing that much, give it another year. After that, as long as it's making the payment, you're still making value.
Yeah. I mean, because the biggest key in long-term rentals, it's a lot of people focus on the monthly cash flow, which is great to have. Don't get me wrong. But it's really more into that appreciation value. So your asset is growing and someone else is paying for that. So if you can even just break even on the cash flow, but gain on the appreciation, gain on the amortization gain because you're paying down a balance, that's the key to success on long-term rentals.
Absolutely. And then keeping it maintained and things like that as much as you can. Worry about the majors, obviously your foundation, roof, electrical, plumbing, things like that.
Yeah. And the other thing I would say about long-term rentals and real estate investing in general is when it comes to the financing side, which is what I do, it's getting creative and having a right person in your corner on the financing, because sometimes you can leverage equity you've got in your primary residence to get out there and buy other rental properties, or you can leverage equity in other rental properties to buy other rental properties as well. Or sometimes you could sell a rental property and turn that into 3 other rental properties. It's all about getting creative and leveraging the equity that you've gained yourself. And the other thing I'll say when it comes to real estate investing, and this is for all of you kind of younger millennials and everything out there, is getting into real estate investing at a young age creates long-term generational wealth even. Because if you get in young and you kind of do what I call house hacking, which is where you're maybe single, no kids, and you can buy a house and live there for a year or 2 and then decide you want to go buy another house as a primary residence. That's a great way to really grow a real estate portfolio. Not everyone can do that lifestyle because maybe you have kids and a family and it's much harder to do that. But in those younger years, I tell you what, don't blow all your money on cars and bars. Spend it on real estate. You will not regret it. I promise you that.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, Diego, man, I've enjoyed all the insight you've had today. Thank you so much. I mean, you're always so informative and, great to work with. Guys, if you guys are looking for an awesome real estate agent that knows his stuff, please reach out to Diego. His website is diegosalesnorthtexas.com, right? So you guys check out his website, and thanks for joining us. And hey, we hope to catch you guys again soon. Thanks so much.